Well, hello everyone. It's John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to Fridays with Sandy. That would be Sandy Kreisberg, the founder of HBSGuru.com. You can
Shalom, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas.
indeed, we have a candidate who is seeking a dual degree at Harvard Business School and Harvard Kennedy School. Deadline is right around the corner. Her name is Chia. She has owned her own business since 2016, is currently a senior at Jyväskylä University in Finland, and is applying to enter in the fall of next year. She's done some military service in Finland. She has taken a practice GRE. She's about to take the actual GRE in the next day or two. Her practice score is 315. So Sandy, what do you think?
I think the dual degree, the way that works, that's what you're interested in, right?
Yes, that is.
Good.
And hello, everyone.
Yeah. Hi, Chia. This is Chia. Yeah, just introduce yourself. Say hi and tell us where you're from and what you're about.
Hi, I'm Tia. I'm originally from Finland, but I'm currently based in Iceland, where I work remotely in my company and do my studies.
What does that mean? You're from Finland, you're based in Iceland, where you work remotely. You're based in Iceland not for business reasons, but for personal reasons? No?
Yeah, just for fun.
Uh-huh. How would you compare the two countries? For most people here in North America, they would say, yeah, they're both cold. That's what...
Well, Iceland is not that cold. This is very American, very even Spanish for, not weather-wise, but like vibe-wise for the northern countries. Finland is very strict. Iceland is very mellow, and yeah, it's similar. It's still Nordics, but it's much more laid back.
Okay, now you're the owner of your own company, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, this is critical. The schools, in large part, besides your grades and your test scores, when the owner of a company applies, or a family business owner applies, the dimensions of the company count a lot. So could you give us some dimensions of your company in terms of employees or say annual sales, and can you tell us what it does?
So I actually have two businesses. One is co-founded with another coach, which is providing individual coaching services. Revenue to this year is around 50,000 euros. We have around 7 customers at the moment who we coach privately. And the other business is my own brand, essentially. So I handle every kind of monetization that comes through my brand from that.
What does that mean? I don't get it.
It means paid collaboration. It means UGC. It means providing marketing services.
Give me an example of a transaction from that second company.
UGC, a company pays me to make content for them from their product. I provide the content and they pay for those rights of that content.
You mean that's like an advertising agency, or you get them publicity on the internet?
Both.
Yeah, I would call that's called a publicist, right, John?
Yeah, it's marketing. I think you do a lot of social media marketing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I present it that way. And do you have any metrics for that business?
No, it's brand new. I don't have this year's data yet.
Good. As to applying to the Kennedy School, they'd be interested in what jobs you've had working for government or governmental organizations. So is that going to be a tough question for you, or do you have some history of that?
I've recently started working in a couple of NGOs to help mainly with HR and marketing. So that's my experience in that.
Can you name them? Is this a secret?
No, it's not a secret. There's a Danish company or an NGO called Walking for Water, and the Ugandan company, NGO, Sustain Me.
Good. And how long have you worked there?
Couple of months for both.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say something that I'm just going to throw it out there and we can bat it around as we keep talking. You might be a much stronger applicant in a year,
I know.
where you've got this NGO experience, you've got a real track record of it. You'd only be, you'd be 28, which is the outside range of normal for age. So wouldn't be a disqualifier. Let me also say, if you applied this year and got rejected and then reapplied next year, there's not really a penalty except for the grief, if you understand what I'm saying. In other words, if you're up for it, if you want to really work incredibly hard to meet this impending deadline, apply, see what happens. There's nothing to lose but the energy and the application fees. So, John, does that strike you as a correct analysis?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, I also would, apply to more options, give yourself some more room, some safety. You could get a good public policy degree and a good MBA from Duke. They have a great public policy school.
Those are schools to consider. Yeah, she could apply for them. Well, yeah. What would you do if you applied to Duke and got in, but you didn't get into like HBS? But
where'd you go?
I'm not really a safety person.
Yeah. Well, it's the problem with just relying on Harvard is it's extremely selective, and you're applying to two programs, so both programs have to let you in instead of just one program. And in terms of, since most of your activity has been around your business, it's going to be very important to show that the business has been successful and that you've had impact there, because they don't know otherwise, right? So a lot of your chances depend on how successful your business has been and how many people it's helped, with specific examples. That would be crucial to, I think, doing a successful application to Harvard.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think your chances this year are, I think it's a long shot. If you want to do it just for the experience, you learn. Certainly filling out an application and applying is a very powerful educational experience. I don't think there's much of a penalty. So if you want to do it, go ahead. As to next year, what you need to do is get a better standardized test score and show them that your business has developed under your leadership.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. That would do the trick. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Is this your business or a family business?
My business. There are two owners, me and a co-founder.
Okay.
But no family members.
What I asked is, certain schools have dedicated programs for family business. But if it's not a family business, you're just applying as a small business owner. Yeah. All right. I'm going to sum it up. I think your chances this year are long shot. I think next year you've got to build a business and you've got to get a better standardized test score. If both of those things happen, there's a lot about you that schools would find attractive, including, I don't know, John, how many people from
Iceland and Finland go to Harvard? Not that many.
Yes.
And I think it's impressive that she's been in contact with the other candidates or actually graduates.
Did they give you some idea of how many were those graduates from Finland, Chia?
Yes, they were. There was not many of them.
I'm surprised you found one.
Right. Yeah. No, I obviously that gives you a distinct advantage. Being a woman from this country and the fact that the graduates that you found were all white males, that's very helpful. Very helpful. And I mean, the fact that you've run your own business at a young age is very impressive, but you just got to demonstrate that it's been successful because, oftentimes when people run their own business, what the schools are looking for is, okay, do you have capital from angel investors or venture capitalists? well, which is basically third-party validation of your business and how successful it is. So if it's been bootstrapped and you don't have that, you gotta use something else to say, yeah, we've had a high renewable business, we've had an endless stream of clients. Here's how we helped X and Y and Z achieve greater performance. Just stuff that makes the case for your impact.
You're on fire, John. That is great advice.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so now tell me this. Give me the roadmap. After you graduate from business school and Kennedy School, you've got this joint degree. What job would you want right after business school? And then what job would you want after that? And give me some role models for who you'd like to be at the height of your career.
During or after my graduation, I would really love to expand the business I have now, to have the coaching learning that I've had and to share it with basically underprivileged communities. So form an NGO or for-profit that is social impact and keep that as an essence who I am. And then
can you name a company that does that? This is really important. Can you name an NGO that's a role model for you in terms of their mission?
For example, the one that I'm participating in right now, Sustain Me, that is in Uganda. They do this in a very local and small level, but I would really like to have a more bigger global impact.
Okay, you Sustain Me, you're the human resources and marketing manager intern. They're based in Uganda, but you're working remotely. Can you tell me about that? How big are they and what do they do? Volunteer on site. Okay, so you're going to Uganda to work for this outfit?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
February.
How long?
Yeah, it's exciting.
Applying from Uganda is I would say a leg up.
2 to 3 months I'm planning.
That's great. There. That's very powerful. Okay, so so after business school, after you finish your education, joining a company like that would be good. Then what would you see yourself doing after that?
I would really like to be in an investor side as a female label company, and then work as a out-of-house consultant for female-led businesses, because that is kind of the same road of what I've been doing as a coach, but I would like to take it up a notch to the business level and to the public level.
You'd start a company, and the company's mission would be business advice for female-run companies?
Yes, and then provide economic development in other countries, but that would be a separate function.
Okay, that might be great, or it might require more development. You've got to get your act down a little better. Do you know what I mean? It's okay to be mildly unclear or tentative when you're talking to John and me. We're so nice and forgiving, but when you deal with real tough guys like the MBA moms on the admissions committee, they're pretty tough. Okay. So
I would assume nothing less.
Yeah.
Just to be very concrete and concise. That's all.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying. You just need to get your story more clear, have more role models, be able to lay things out, have a kind of like a deck. Like you've been in consulting, you know what a deck is?
Yeah.
Good. So that would be my advice. But my tough love to you would be you've done a lot of great and interesting and diverse things, right? It might be time to focus. It might be time to sit yourself down and say, okay, what do I really want to do and how am I going to get there? What's my goal and what's the road ahead? That would be advice, even though, we live in a wonderful world here. You can change your mind without too much penalty, but it just might cost you time and energy.
Yeah. And when you're applying, they want you to be more definite about what you want
Yeah,
to do.
when you apply, you've got to have your game face on. You know that term?
Yes, of course.
Good. You got any questions for us? You're interesting, unique, accomplished, and powerful. It's just that you've got to be just more focused and together for purposes of applying.
Yeah, I have one question. I have one failed business venture. Should I mention that or not?
Yeah, absolutely. They love that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
That's helpful.
sure. What was it, and why did it fail? They love stories like that.
It was a startup, and the goal was to create sustainable clothing under a certain brand name and trademark, and to make it in Finland and sustainable. But by the time we got into actually starting to produce it, we found out that it was impossible to make it profitable. So we had to default it.
Tell me again what the business was and why this is going to. I would put this on your resume, and because it's actually a sign of your initiative and your toughness. So tell me again quite clearly what the business was and why it didn't work.
It was a unique clothing brand, startup, sustainable one that we designed with two other partners, and it failed due to the sheer
No, so far you didn't
impossibility
do a
of
good job of
having a
describing what
profit.
it was. It was a company that was focused on creating sustainable clothing for women and children. And the reason it was sustainable was we were reusing fabric, or the fabric was very strong, or we had a patent or whatever. You get it?
Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And then it failed because of what? Lack of funding, poor distribution, competition. What was the failure?
Okay. So the company was sustainable apparel under a trademark that we had designed and planned. The idea was to create and make sustainable clothing within Finland with Finnish workforce and to use only sustainable materials. And by the time we got to the production, we found out that it would have never been profitable to create that with the workforce in Finland and using those expensive fabrics. So we had to default. Was that better?
Yeah, a little bit, but you still have work to do on that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a final question, and this was very likely to show up on an interview at a North American business school and a European one, more so North American. What do you want your classmates to know about Finland?
I want them to know that even though the image of Nordic countries and Finland is very progressive and very natural and minimalistic, we're actually very much not trendsetters. We are the followers of the world, and we mimic what other people do, and then we just apply it. We're not as innovative.
Hey, John, what kind of answer you had? Great daddy answer from 0 to 0.
I would say that I wonder if there's a way to put it in a more positive term.
Don't diss your country. That's not something people enjoy listening to.
Yeah, I would try to put it in a more positive frame. I would
also say, the question is, what do you want your classmates to know about Finland?
Yes.
You might say, well, I hope they know where it is. You see,
yeah,
people
because
think
many
of
people
blur when they think about
believe it or not.
Scandinavia. So it is next to Norway or wherever it is, and it's does it belong to NATO?
Yes, from last year.
Yes, it's the newest member.
It recently joined NATO. Is it an EU country?
Yes.
European Union?
Since I think 95.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Those are important things that your classmates want to know, because most people like John and me, who are, regular slugs, but we pay attention, don't know much about Finland, okay? So they go, it's located there. It's got a population of so many people. Its major products are this, this, and this.
Yeah,
And
you want to kind of
economic
Wikipedia
challenges or this.
Yeah.
You get the story?
Yeah, you want
Is
the
that a good
Wikipedia.
answer?
Yeah,
Isn't
it's a
that kind
great
of
answer. It's the
boring?
answer they want. What,
Yeah,
Okay.
if I were your classmate, that's what I'd want to know.
And then if they asked, for
Okay.
example, what do you think the country's major economic challenge is? Then you can go into what you just said before.
Yeah, that.
Okay, but they can just Google that. They can
Yeah, I
Google
know, but
where it is, how
They
big it
can
is.
Google, let's reject this woman too. You know, the fact that they can Google it, they want to hear it from you. You got
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, and your spin on it, because you in the way you express it, the way you may personalize it, would be meaningful for them. And there are a lot of people who actually don't, believe it or not, even at Harvard Business School, who may not know where Finland is or know anything about the country. So you're really trying to educate them on a very base level and answer the question very succinctly.
And they're not really so concerned about Finland. They could look it up. They're concerned about, guess what? Your ability to explain things. That's kind of what they're admitting you for.
Yeah.
So if your
Okay,
first
I
day
believe you.
of your first day at Harvard Business School, where they go, okay, Mrs. Tia, could you please state the case of Jones v. Smith? You go, well, I could, but my classmates could Google it, and so could you, Professor. How long do you think you'll be at Harvard Business School? It's tough love here. Okay.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you're taking your GRE. Good luck on the test. You're applying within days, because the deadline for the dual degree at Kennedy and Harvard Business School is right around the corner. So go through that whole exercise. Hopefully you'll do well on the test. And you never know. And if you don't get accepted, you can always reapply. There's no disadvantage to reapplying, and you might choose a wider range of dual degree schools in the future if you're so inclined. Otherwise, good luck to you. And for all of you out there, good luck as well on your journey for an MBA. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. You've been watching Fridays with Sandy.